Hi, this is Barry Coombs from Computer World. Today we're going to have a look at the Bitdefender multi-platform architecture. Where, as many of you will know, inside your existing physical infrastructures and virtual infrastructures, your antivirus is going to be deployed on a per virtual machine basis. We normally have some kind of centralized management, but on each of our servers we're going to be deploying a full-fat agent that is responsible for the antivirus scanning actions on each of the virtual machines. Policies are often sent down from the underlying management console, but they're then put into action by the agents on each of the machines. In our modern infrastructures where we're going to be using a hypervisor and we're trying to consolidate as many workloads onto our virtual environment as possible, this can often cause an overhead by duplicating the scanning efforts, and it also can lead to problems like boot storms in VDI environments. VMware have a technology called VMware vShield Endpoint, with technologies like Bitdefender can integrate with. On your virtual environment, we deploy a Bitdefender security console that is used as the single point of administration for the antivirus platform. We're also going to deploy the VMware vShield Manager. On each of the hosts inside your VMware environment, you will be deploying a VMware vShield driver. Also, within VMware Tools, we'll be enabling the vShield driver, and we then deploy a Bitdefender Security Virtual Appliance to each of the hosts inside our environment. Finally, we can also install an optional Bitdefender Silent Agent that gives us in-memory scanning technologies. The Bitdefender Security Console will talk down to the Bitdefender AV update, the Bitdefender server for AV updates. If we're using a VMware environment, this is all well and good. The Bitdefender vShield endpoint comes included as part of your vSphere licensing. Many of us today might be using other hypervisors such as Xen or Hyper-V, or maybe we're looking at technologies such as Amazon EC2 or VMware vCloud Air. This brings us a problem because we're unable to utilize technology like vShield Endpoint, but we still want to get away from the infrastructure where we're having to deploy full agents to each of our virtual machines. Bitdefender have a multi-platform architecture that we're now able to deploy that works in a very similar way to vShield Endpoint. What we need to do first of all is deploy a very simple Linux virtual appliance into our environment. As I said, this could be Xen or Hyper-V or any of the other cloud platforms. This Bitdefender Gravity Zone Control Center is going to be the central point of management for our antivirus platform. This Linux virtual appliance is deployed as a OVF into your virtual environment or any other relevant packaged virtual machine format. When we deploy this inside your environment, it's a very simple installation that will run through and it will then enable us to configure it very easily. We can see on the screen a screenshot of the virtual machine applying. Once this finishes, we then go through the menu to choose the relevant options. Bitdefender can be deployed in many different ways, including over multiple different infrastructures. It has load balancing technologies to allow you to have a fully highly available infrastructure. The Bitdefender Gravity Zone Control Center will talk directly to the Bitdefender servers in the cloud to get all of the AV and application updates. We then need to start looking at our virtual infrastructure and how we're going to deploy Bitdefender architecture over our existing infrastructure. In this example here, we're going to look at how it may work inside a Hyper-V environment. In this example, we're going to have a look at a solution that maybe has 3 hosts. So we have the free hosts inside our virtual infrastructure. On top of these hosts, we've probably already got some virtual machines deployed. In this example, I have two virtual machines. One of these virtual machines is going to be a Windows virtual machine, and one of these virtual machines is going to be a Linux virtual machine. The next element of configuration for us is we need to deploy a scanning virtual appliance inside our infrastructure. We only need to deploy one of these per environment. We also do have the ability to deploy multiple scanning virtual appliances to deliver high availability configurations, or to be able to scale the infrastructure further. However, it isn't a requirement to do one per host, as it would be with the VMware vShield endpoint technology. Inside each of our virtual machines, we will be deploying the BD tools, the Bitdefender tools. This is the element that allows us to be able to conduct the scanning, which is all offloaded to the relevant scanning virtual appliance. We'll set priorities inside the infrastructure to ensure that there is a failover between scanning virtual appliances if there is a failure. All of these scanning virtual appliances will connect back directly to the Gravity Zone control center. From here, we're able to configure policies for scanning, exceptions, and we're also able to configure elements like updates and look at quarantined items. It's very quick, very simple to use. If we have a very quick look at the user interface, we can see from the screenshot that it is going to integrate directly with your virtual environment. In this example here, we're looking at a VMware infrastructure, and we're able to scan through the vCenter to look at the virtual machines, to be able to install clients, do scans, or look at other key information. By deploying the scanning virtual appliances in this way with Bitdefender Gravity Zone, we're offloading all scanning actions from each of the virtual machines to the scanning virtual appliance. This will have an effect on the environment of being able to reduce overall consumption of memory and CPU, and optionally allow us to be able to roll out additional virtual machines to be able to maximise the cost and investment. There's no reliance on VMware vShield endpoint. This still can be deployed in conjunction with it, but in testing by people like Login VSI, it's actually been proven that the Bitdefender multi-platform architecture may allow you to roll out additional virtual machines when a Bitdefender solution is rolled out in conjunction with vShield endpoints. So that's been a very quick overview of the Bitdefender multi-platform architecture. If you'd like to talk to us about it further, please contact us via the website. Thank you.